sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I was just making sure that no other questions came in from people who are not able to make it. So I see that y'all might already have some questions for me going. I'm gonna go ahead while folks start populating questions here in the live stream. I'm gonna go ahead and answer some of the ones that came in prior to this, just you know, so y'all can go ahead and start, the folks coming in still and whatnot, have a chance to get signed in and ask some questions live here. So okay, one of the first questions was, do I ever mail fuel cans to myself, or have I been able to find them along the trail? And I have never, I shouldn't say I've never mailed a fuel can. I can't remember if I have or not, but that's not something that I typically do. I don't normally mail myself resupply packages at all. But there are some rules about mailing them. I think that they're not allowed to fly is what it is, but like they can go ground, if I understand properly. But I've heard folks out here say, oh, post office employees will tell you that you can't mail them, but you can, there is a way. But I'm able to find them on the trail enough that I don't worry about it. I don't worry about mailing them to myself. Man, it is good to be here in town and able to talk to y'all. I just have to say. I'm going to tell you a quick story real quick before I answer another question, just so you know where I'm at mentally right now. So last night, or yesterday afternoon, after taking 3 zeros, which is like, I don't know that I've ever done that on trail, except when I was getting off to go away. Like, you know, for my brother's graduation or something like that. Anyway, I left here, and it's been storming and raining and snowing up high. But anyway, I got up on the trail about, oh, I don't know how many thousands of feet. I was up at like about 5,000 feet elevation when I hit the snow, and which was fine. It was raining, you know. The Sierra Nevada has broken me in. Not really afraid of snow anymore, but my tent, I woke up at 4 a.m. and was like, why am I wet right now? And I don't know if it's just the condensation. I don't know if my tent has a small hole somewhere that I wasn't able to locate. But anyway, my stuff was soaked, I was soaked, and I was like, you know, I'm going back to town. So made it back in this morning. That's when I decided to do this live Q&A, because not sure that I'll be able to do another one, since I probably won't be zeroing anymore until I get done. But we'll see. If I am able to work one in, I obviously will. But that's why I wanted to just like put that out there, that this might be the last one, although I wasn't aiming for it to be. So, okay, so that's where I'm at. But I'm warm and happy now, and I mean, I was fine last night, but it's not fun to wake up wet. So I don't think that it was anything wrong with my tent or anything like that, unless, you know, I've managed to put a small hole in it somewhere. So I'm gonna scout that out after I get off here with y'all, but it's drying right now. So okay, another question, blisters. So after my 62-mile, you know, 24-hour challenge, I did get some blisters, and somebody asked, how have I found the best way to deal with them? The best way that I found when I had them, they don't really bother me, to be honest. Of course, I've not had like a huge one on my heel or anything like that. It's just been a little bit on my toes. I did get a pair of those Injinji socks, but you know, I don't really get them unless I start doing like really big mile days. Some people are, you know, cursed with blisters. Some people like me are cursed with plantar fasciitis, and some don't have any problem because they have perfect feet, right? So, but I noticed that I tried that Leuco tape, and I just folded some Leuco tape onto itself, so I didn't put a sticky one on the blister, because I made the mistake of putting the sticky side on a blister once and it didn't feel good. But anyway, then put it on the blister and then wrap it around, and I just kind of go with it. And then after the blister's been there, a nurse out here told me, after the blister has been there for about, I don't remember if she said 18 or 24 hours or what, that the skin underneath is usually strong enough for you to pop it at that point. So then I have burned a safety pin, put some hand sanitizer on it, all that, and popped it. So there, in the forum on Facebook, I don't know if y'all are on Facebook, but the Homemade Wanderlust Backpacking Forum, if you comment in there, folks can tell you 1,000 ways that they've, you know, found to work with their blisters, and it's just not something that's a big I mean, it's a pain, right? But it's not extremely painful to me. So I just kind of walk with them and deal with it. And then somebody asked, why don't I wear gaiters? So I started off with gaiters, and I didn't really notice. Like, I did a couple of days with them because I didn't use them on the AT, but I thought, well, on the PCT will be where I could tell if I really need them or not, right? In the desert with all that sand. And at the beginning, I just didn't really, like, I wore them some days, and then some days I didn't really notice a difference at all. So, you know, so I just kind of didn't fool with it. It was just one less thing to fool with, honestly. But I'm not saying that they don't work for people. You know, if you notice that you get a lot of debris, as far like out here, your feet are gonna be dusty and dirty regardless. But if you notice that you're getting a lot of sticks and rocks, and you're having to stop and dump them out often, then you might, you know, the way that you walk, it might help to have gaiters. So, okay, the new pack. So I swapped from an HMG pack, and Lord have mercy, I did not mean for it to go crazy. So in that video, I don't know if you noticed, but in the comments, people were like, like hating on HMG. Do I think that they could do better customer service wise? Yes. Have I seen people work with companies that are better customer service wise than HMG was with me? Yes. For example, Osprey. I did not have any issues with my Osprey that I ever had to deal with them, but I saw people out here who was like, you know, who messaged them and said, hey, my back pouch is torn, and they were like, what's the next town you're going to be in? We'll send you a new one, send us the old one back. I know that not all of the gear companies can, you know, do that great of a job, but you know, maybe give you a loaner pack while they're repairing yours, or, you know, whatever. I feel like that there could be better options than just, oh, well, you have to wait till afterwards. But anyway, it wasn't a big deal. It was just a little back pouch tear. And then, you know, my back started rubbing and the other clip broke, and I was just like, you know, I'm just done. Like, I'm ready to get something else. I've only heard of one other person to date that has used an HMG pack that has had back rubbing, and everyone else has been fine. So packs are very much like shoes and socks, and, you know, that they're very personal to the person carrying them and how they fit their body. So it just didn't work for me. But I went with the Z-Packs pack, and so far, so good. You know, I think that the lightweight packs are certainly better if you have a low base weight. You know, so if your base weight, and I don't know exactly what base weight to say, but I mean, if you have a lower base weight, then it'll probably work, you know, really well and carry comfortable, any of the lightweight packs. But, you know, if you've got a higher base weight, then the very lightweight packs, or hyperlight, or, you know, ultralight, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, they might not be as much for you. So I will say that the one that I have, I think the Z-Packs pack is Arc Hall, so it is rated for, I think, weights up to 45 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. That's with everything, you know. Cold in that motel room, no heat. No, I'm doing laundry right now, so this is my only kind of clean thing to wear, this and like my rain clothes and stuff. So that's kind of what I wear while I'm doing laundry. So if you gotta know, that's why I'm wearing a puffy. No, it's actually kind of warm in here, and I cut off the dehumidifier to talk to y'all, so it wasn't like in the background. So it's getting a little toasty actually, but it's okay. All right, then let me go ahead and throw in one. Let's see what y'all are saying on here. So, hey Gary, how is the trail closure situation? So the trail closure situation has been a holy nightmare, but I have managed to do every single open mile of trail. So I'm not, if it's open, I'm not skipping it. I don't care how much of a pain it is to get in, because I don't know if I can explain it well. I think I tried to before, but say this is a highway and this is a highway, okay? And there's like 100 miles in between. Well, they'll close some of these areas sometimes where it's like 10 miles north of the highway and like 20 miles south of this highway. So there's no good way to get on and off the trail. So a lot of people will be like, oh, well, you know, forget it. I'm not going in and doubling back. So they'll just go from this highway to this highway in a car. Well, I don't feel like a good person saying I did a through hike unless I do every single open mile of trail. So what I do is I go in, do the 10, double back, and then, you know, come up here, go in, do that, and double back. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I can't not do open miles of trail and say I did a through hike. To me, that's just like, oh, I did a convenient through hike, and it just doesn't cut it for me. So, and then there are some people who are doing continuous footstep, but like they're skipping trail miles to do it. So, you know, instead of doing up here, back, then walking the highway, and then coming up here, down and back, and then walking the highway, they're just like, oh, well, I'll walk the highway all the way around, you know. But then again, you're still skipping open miles of trail. So to each his own, but for me to say I hiked the Pacific Crest Trail in 2017, then every open mile of trail that was there when I got there, I have to do it. So that's just, this trail is a lot harder. The AT, usually everything's open and you're either purist or you're not, you know, and out here it's just, people don't value it as much because it's more difficult to achieve, I guess. But anyway, let's see. Okay, after the CDT next year, any plans to come back to hike to California and hike the JMT? You know, I did a lot of the JMT this year, and I feel pretty fulfilled with that. I'm not saying I won't ever come back, but honestly, after I do the Triple Crown, I think I might want to go overseas and do something in another country, you know. I'll feel like I've seen a lot of this country. Now that I've been to Washington, I only have 4 states left until I've seen all 50. There are some that I haven't seen as well as I would like to, like Montana, which I'll see more of that on the CDT, but I only saw like the eastern really flat side. Wyoming, same thing, but I'll get a lot of that. So, you know, yeah, I think I'll be pretty fulfilled with the U.S., but of course not completely. But have you seen any weird things in the sky at night you can't explain? No, I guess not really. You know, and shame on me because sometimes I really don't take the time to look at the stars as much as I should, and it amazes me, especially when I cowboy camp. Like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll open my eyes and I'll look and I'll just think, wow, this is so beautiful, and this is my house right now, you know. And I'm like, why don't I make sure to look at this every night? But, you know, sometimes you just, I don't know, you take it for granted, you know, just like any good thing in life. So I try to remind myself more and more to take in all of the beauty. Regarding the HMG pack, can you cover the issues you had? Okay, I think, Christopher, I think I kind of touched onto that. If you have any more detailed questions that I didn't cover, go ahead and comment that, and I'll go more into it. Just basically the back rub, and it was more of like a heat rash or something. It wasn't like raking the skin off. Well, I think it kind of started breaking the skin off a little bit. But anyway, I just used my rain pants as cushion back there. And I originally thought that it was like my bear can on top of my pack kind of pulling back and like the leverage pushing into my back. But even after I ditched my bear can, it was an issue. So, yeah. Yep. Do you feel as beat up physically at this point of the PCT compared to the AT? No, I don't feel as physically beat up. I feel mentally beat up. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm just like, Canada's right there at my fingertips, and I'm like 250 or so miles from Canada, and I'm just like, I'm just ready. I'm ready to be there. I'm ready to, you know, not that I want to end this, or not that I'm not enjoying the beauty, but I just need to get there. I just, you know, weather-wise and everything, I'm just ready to get there. But it's supposed to get nice here soon, so it's supposed to be nice starting tomorrow, I think, or better anyway than it has been the last 4 or 5 days of rain. Where are you physically? Oh, what town? I am in, I'm near, about Snoqualmie. Oh my gosh, Snoqualmie. I'm near Snoqualmie. Pass. Yeehaw. Howdy Dixie, want more chili or ramen rescue? Yes, but you might want to hold on that. I might have to take you up on that on the CDT. Getting close to the end here, and I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to go into Lord, I'm having such a brain fart right now. the last town's THRU-HIKE. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go there, have to go to the next place, or what exactly. So I don't have my plans nailed down. So yes, I would love some more, but I may have to take you up on it because I'm about to be done. How do you deal with ankle sprains? You know, I haven't had to deal with that. I reckon you would just have to, you know, tie her up with whatever you had on you and limp to town, you know, just get to the next town. That's why I always carry an extra day of food, because just in case you don't make it, you know, I don't know, you just have to, if you have to take more time than you thought you would, it's good to have an extra day of food. So with a sprained ankle, I mean, it would really not be a good thing, but like you can make it, especially if you use trekking poles, kind of like crutches, you know, you'd be fine. Cold in that motel room, no. Any food issues or changes in diet? No, not really. The food issue is I go to the grocery store and I walk around in circles and I look for something that doesn't make me want to gag, because at this point, everything's just like, ugh. But I did find a good, I found a nice grocery store in Portland area, and it was called Winco. And if y'all have those near you, I found runts, like the candy from my past, runts. You know, the ones where the banana is the best flavor? That one. They had it just like you could open a lever and all that you wanted would just fill the sack. So it's pretty awesome. Alright, let's see. Lost any more knives? No, thankfully. I still have mine. How many miles have you had to skip? You know, Nicole, I'm not exactly sure the number, but I will let y'all know that. I honestly don't know offhand, but I have everything written down, like where I stayed each night and, you know, from where to where I went around. I just have not calculated it yet, but I will definitely do so, because, you know, I want to keep track of it, and I would like to come back, even though I feel like it will still be a through hike because I was not able to hike those. I still would like to come back and fill in the holes that I missed. And there's one down in Idlewild that I'll have to wait for a while because it's been closed for several years. Alright, let's see. How is Perk? Perk, I hope he's doing well, because he was ahead of me last night. I don't know exactly how far, so we didn't camp together. We left town together, though. And then I haven't seen him today, obviously, because I turned around and came back here. So I hope that he's okay and dry, but I'm sure I'll see him in the next town. So love that you are purist in that respect. Thank you. I feel like that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? I feel like if you only do this, you know, sections because you didn't feel like doing all of it, then that's fine. But, you know, it's not a through hike unless you've done everything that you can. But my opinion, I guess. You still hiking with Perk? Yeah, I was until today. So snow in Lake Tahoe today. Yeah, there's snow everywhere. The snow is not really, I mean, it's not like a crazy amount or anything like that. Definitely a few inches up there where I camped last night, but it wasn't the snow that got me, it was the rain. So had it stayed snow, you know, I would have been alright. But okay, let's see. I'd be very interested to see what you're actually cooking, if you're cooking. Yes, I am cooking. I cook Bear Creek soup sometimes. I do pasta side. My favorite that I'm not sick of yet is Alfredo pasta sides, and then I take fresh spinach from town and sprinkle that spinach in. Oh, so good. It's so good. And spinach holds up for a couple days. I mean, depending on how cool it is and how much you beat up on it. So, but that's my favorite thing. For lunch, sometimes I'll do pretty much the same thing. I mean, I try to mix it up, but and then for breakfast I do oatmeal or cream of wheat or grits. After the CDT, have you ever thought of making your own routes instead of official trails? You know, I hadn't necessarily really thought of that, but why not? That would be awesome. That would be really cool, and especially even if you were able to incorporate, you know, trails into it along with road walks and things like that. I don't really love the straight up bushwhacking. It's not really fun, but because I did some of that in the Sierra Nevada when we would lose the trail. But yeah, I might do some of that. Who knows? That's a great idea. I would love to see your videos from Italy. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, if I go to Italy, I will definitely post some videos from there. My sister really wants to go. She'd like to do the Camino. And I mean, I would too, so that would be a nice change. I don't think she's up for this kind of backpacking, but she would definitely do the Camino. And actually, we were talking, we were last Christmas trying to learn Italian together. We were doing the Duolingo app, and we were drinking wine in the kitchen because we thought that might help, you know, with us learning Italian. I mean, makes sense, right? So I actually have a picture of her playing on her phone on the Duolingo app, holding a glass of wine, and yeah, so. On your new pack, are those pockets attached to the straps on your chest? They are, but they're like bungeed and stuff like that. It's not sewn on, so definitely something that doesn't have to be on there. Same thing with your belt. I had no idea you were that far ahead. Yeah, so I am ahead obviously of the videos about a month now, because he just covered the eclipse, and you know, it's the 21st now, so I think it's the 21st. It's right around there. So anyway, yeah, it is. He's gonna start. It's slowly catching me. I did a no-no, and I'll go ahead and tell you all about it. You'll see it in the video. But when I was in the Crater Lake area, you know, I took video and everything as usual. And while I was in Portland, it was after one of the fire closures, and I was actually hiking with a girl named Milestone who lived in Portland. So she was able, while we were close to that area, to get her vehicle, and we ended up doing, she hiked south, I hiked north, she handed me the keys, I got up to the truck and drove around to get her, you know, to get around the next closure, but to do a little piece in between two fire closures, like 50 miles or something. But I had left my tent there when we zeroed there at her house, so we had to go back that night and get it. It was like an hour south of where we were. Go back, get there at like 2 a.m. and I'm trying to take advantage of having good service, upload videos and all that. So I'm like setting what videos to upload to Dropbox. I set 100 of them to upload. And then, like a complete moron, I went to my camera roll, selected those 100 videos that were trying to upload, and deleted all of them, and then permanently deleted them. And yes, I'm an idiot, I didn't have iCloud backup, but I have so many videos that it wouldn't be enough room anyway. I guess I could buy extra storage. But so all of my videos from Crater Lake are gone. However, my friend Dibs uploaded a couple of his to Dropbox. I don't even know what he has on there, and Perk uploaded one, so y'all can see how smoky it was. But I do have a bunch of pictures and stuff from there, so those will also be on there. But what a moron. I can't, I was so upset when I did that. I was like, I wanted to throw up. And I even got this software that I paid for that said that it could, you know, restore your phone even without you know, a backup onto a computer or anything like that. And I guess it's a complete lie, because it didn't find anything that wasn't already on my phone. But I was pretty devastated. Luckily, it was only like a day or two of footage, so, but still, that's pretty frustrating. And it was just because I was like halfway falling asleep while I was trying to do it. So there is that, which is unfortunate. And I don't even know how I just got off on that tangent. Okay. Thanks for all the gear reviews and inspiration. My wife and I did our first section hike of the SHT along Lake Superior in Minnesota last weekend. That is awesome, Tim. That's really cool. And I mean, I think with section hiking a trail, you really get to enjoy it more. I've said it before, you know, if you're like, oh, there's a nice spot that I've heard of that's a half a mile off trail, let's go down to that lake and camp there. It's not, you know, the thru-hiker mentality of, I'm not adding an extra mile. You know, when you section, you can really enjoy each section to its fullest and pick, you know, the best season to go. So that's really awesome. And it's cool that y'all are doing that together, and you can, you know, have that as a goal of completing that together. Have you seen any snaps? I don't reckon so. You just say the word, your huckleberry. Did the bug net come in handy at all? You know, I hadn't even seen any bugs anymore. So, go figure, right? So yes, it kept them away, because as soon as I bought a tank top the other day, it cooled off. So there you go. I mean, you can control the weather and the situations. You just have to buy the appropriate gear for it, and then the situation turns, right? What's so mentally about the PCT versus the AT? Honestly, well, I guess I was pretty mentally distraught at this time on the AT, because I was like, oh my god, they're gonna close Katahdin, you know, and I finished after Katahdin. But the fire closures, even though it doesn't seem like that should be that much of a headache, it's like, so what? You have to go around. It's really draining, especially, you know, if you line up a ride with a trail angel or something like that, you know, you're set, like, I have to be at the spot at this time kind of thing. And you don't want somebody just waiting on you. You don't necessarily have service to call and, you know, tell somebody you're going to be late. And, you know, when we did the switcheroo with Milestone's truck, it wasn't like, oh, well, we can, you know, it was just in the next 2 days we're doing, or was it 3 days? I don't remember. But we're doing X amount of miles, you know, and so if you have to pull a 30 one day, you just do. And so it just got kind of stressful doing all that. It was a set schedule then, you know what I mean? It wasn't just, one of the beauties of a through hike is, yeah, you have a certain deadline, but it's just from each, you know, in each stretch, it's kind of like, oh, you hike what feels good, or, you know, you can aim to be there by a certain day, but if you're not, it's not a big deal. Whereas when you set these, like, the schedule for yourself, it's just, it's stressful. So I was looking forward to kind of taking it easy, but with this weather being so bad the last few days, I'm really gonna have to push once it turns nice, which is fine, whatever. But I was looking forward to, like, you know, like 20 miles per day instead of 25 or more. Winter has come early to the Pacific Northwest. I'm thinking another 24-hour challenge to break the Dixie record. You must be very proud to watch it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was pretty excited, and I keep kind of kicking myself in the butt. I'm like, if I had taken it more serious from the beginning and hiked harder, I could have potentially gotten 70, you know. I don't know that I could have, but I feel like maybe I could have if I don't know. Right, you can always say, oh, if I had just done this or if I had just done that. But I got 60, and I never even thought that I could get that. So, you know, I am pretty excited about it. Yeah, I don't know about doing 62 miles in snow, but like I said, it's showing that the weather is supposed to get nice, I think nicer tomorrow, and then, like, you know, pretty nice the next, hopefully, 2 weeks. I'm crossing my fingers. So, I'm hoping to be done within like 2 to 2.5 weeks, something like that. Bananas are definitely the best front flavor. I'm glad that you agree. I think so. I mean, I eat the others just because, like, they're part of it, but, like, the bananas. Do you spend most of the days hiking solo or with others? I have spent lately more time alone, but been camping with Perk and Milestone. The only time that I really itch, like, to hike with other people is night hiking. I prefer people around just because it's more fun. You stay more motivated, you know, somebody to talk to, because during the day it's like, oh, I get to look around, you know, and see things that are pretty, and then at night it just becomes like, it's just one foot in front of the other and just blackness all around, you know. I listen to podcasts and stuff, but I don't know. It's just better to talk to somebody, you know, cry together. Misery loves company. Just kidding. We're not crying, but is there going to be a full-length movie of your PCT hike? I don't know. I reckon if Aaron feels like doing that. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, would anyone pay for stuff that they can see free on YouTube? I mean, and I guess there could be. I think he might do some little compilation, something other, you know, at the end. But as far as, like, a DVD to purchase or anything like that, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Do you dry clean your own bag along the way or just use a liner? So, I'm just a disgusting person this time. I've thought, you know, hey, if I come to a laundromat that's got like a front-loading washer, because that's what they say is best to use for your down bag, and, you know, I find some down detergent, then I might just do that. But I haven't washed it at all, and I haven't used a liner, so I'm just gross. I do wash my legs off, though. Like, I carry baby wipes, or, like, if I'm near a water source, I'll pour water on my legs and wash them off real good. And then I sleep with my leggings and wool socks that only see the inside of my sleeping bag. So that definitely helps. Not saying I'm not still kind of grody in it, but you know, you're just kind of grody out here. That's just that's just the way it goes. But you can get those silk liners, you know, that you could wash every time. I did do that on the AT for a while, and then I finally sent it home to save a little bit of weight. So, what is the estimated date/dates to reach Canada at this time? I don't know. I mean, originally I was hoping for October 1st, but that's pretty much not going to happen now. So, I don't know. Within the first week of October still, I hope to be there. Any issues crossing into Canada at the northern terminus and then coming back into the U.S.? Yeah. Apparently, well, you can hit the northern terminus and then turn around, like you can hit the monument, but you can't, from what I've heard, go into Manning Park and then turn around and come back. The Sobos have to go, I don't know if they have to go to Harts Pass and hike north and turn around and come back. You know, I'm not sure how they do that. I've heard people talk about it, but but if you just hike, touch the monument and go south, you're fine. But then you have to go, I think somebody said it's like 30 miles south or 20 miles south to Harts Pass, which they just reopened, thankfully, so people can do that because it was closed due to a fire. But I'm just going to hike into Manning Park into Canada, and then, you know, go out by car or bus or train or whatever, and I have a passport. So this will be the first country that I've ever been to. I mean, I've been to the Bahamas, but that doesn't really count, right? So so I'm pretty excited about going into Canada. You can order all banana packages of runts from Amazon. Stop it. I hope you're not telling me stories. Oh my gosh, it's like Christmas came early. I'm gonna have to do that. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine just like eating like mouthfuls of banana runts. That's so cool. You seem to be running across a lot more wildfires now. How far did that deer follow you? Yeah, the wildfires were for days. I think I'm north of all of the closures now, though, unless a new one pops up. But with this rain and snow, I don't think so. And really, it may be a blessing in disguise, because there was one that was getting dangerously close to the northern terminus. And, you know, I've thrown a fit about a lot of these fire closures, just like having to miss the trail. But I don't even want to say it. Yeah, if I had to stand on a pile of ashes that used to be the northern terminus, I think I would curse this year altogether, because it's been a rough one. And how far did that deer follow me? You know, I think it followed me for at least half a mile. I don't think it was quite a mile, but at least half a mile, and I thought that was pretty funny. About border crossing, how are you planning on getting back? I read it was illegal to cross the U.S. border from Canada, but you can cross the border into Canada. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about earlier. I'm trying to remember how the southbounders do it. I've asked them, and I'll definitely, you know, figure it out, because I'm sure I'll be making blog posts or doing another informational book about the PCT like I did on the AT. So I'll have to research that more. And if I find out for sure before I do the next Q&A, if I don't do another one while I'm on the trail, then like I said, I'll definitely do one when I finish, so maybe I can have an answer for you then. But I'll come back in like through bus or train or something. What were the miles for your challengers on the 24-hour? Okay, so I did 62. Perk did, I think, 52.5. Macman did 51.1, and then Spoon, I can't remember exactly how many he did, but he fell down during that, and I don't know that he got back on trail or not. He fell down and like skinned his face pretty bad. I guess he was running to catch up, and so he ended up setting up camp. He stopped, I think, right around when Perk did, so 52 miles or so, and he said he was getting off trail to take a break. And I mean, we hadn't heard from him anymore, so I hope that didn't get him off trail. That would really make me sad. What is the most surprising thing about the PCT that you didn't anticipate? I don't know, because I think it's been pretty much everything I read. I mean, of course, Sierra Nevada, while I feel like there was a lot of fear-mongering, it was legitimately dangerous, you know. But I was kind of expecting that, you know, just from all the fear-mongering even. So, I guess I would say the lack of, community, and not in like the trail angel community, because trail angels and the people out here along the trail have been amazing for the most part. I mean, there are a couple towns that I wouldn't care to go back to, but that's the same thing with the AT, right? So, but as far as camaraderie among through hikers, I feel like it's not as intense as the AT. There are less people who hike this trail, and there aren't shelters that kind of gather people up, you know. However, I think that that also may have been different for me if I had done the PCT in a normal year. The Sierra Nevada just scattered everyone like cockroaches, you know. It's just like some people flipped. Well, most people either flipped, quit, and that's it, you know. So the majority flipped or quit. Some flipped and hiked south not long after I went through. Some went to Canada and they're not going back, you know. I mean, it's just everybody went in all different directions when normally you have like one main bubble going northbound. So that could also be a reason for it. So I really, you know, I can't like hate on the PCT and say, oh, it's just the people aren't nice. It's not like that. It's just that there weren't as many people out here probably as there normally is. So it's kind of hard for me to compare to a normal year on the PCT, right? So, because it's not been normal at all. And with these fire closures, that hasn't helped at all either. Okay, let's see. My daughter Katie, who is 9, has started backpacking. Spent 3 nights at Lake Aloha this summer. She wants to know, what is your favorite things about hiking? Well, you can tell Katie that one of my favorite things was Lake Aloha, because that place is awesome. So I'm glad that y'all got to see it and enjoy that. That's definitely one of the places that I do want to go back and visit for sure. So Lake Aloha is absolutely amazing. That's in Desolation Wilderness, and like I actually remember that because it was so awesome. So one of my favorite things is definitely the wildlife. So I like seeing deer, and I like seeing the little critters and stuff. You know, I don't know, sunrises and sunsets are also awesome, and I try to set my tent up strategically so I can be lazy while I watch them. So I don't have to like get up and get out of the tent. And then the people are absolutely awesome. So yeah, so you can tell her that, or if she's watching, then that's what it is. And I'm glad that you've got her out there. I'm glad that you're backpacking, Katie, because it's awesome. It's a great thing to do, and you learn a lot of things about nature, you know, and how they relate to life also. So praying for you to finish and safe return. Food tip: Parmesan cheese makes anything taste great and will keep for days without refrigeration, especially Alfredo. Yeah, I have toted some of that before, and it is really good, and it does keep longer. You know, a lot of folks are like, man, we left it out of the fridge, we have to throw it away now. And it's like, I promise, stuff lasts a lot longer than you think it does. Pepperoni, salami, all that stuff. Have you told us where you got your competitive spirit that seems to drive your wanderlust? Oh, you know, Tony, I think I get it from my mom. I'll blame it on her. She, yeah, I'll say that it's her. You know, but it was also my nanny, her mom, I think. I remember this pie eating contest one time, and it was like 5 or 6 people, and my nanny was just like, you know, it was just going down, and I was just watching like, go nanny, go nanny, go. And my mom was in it too, but mom was kind of like, eh. But nanny scarfed it down, and there was a man next to her, a big man, and she was like, that big old man thought he was gonna win, didn't he? But I showed him, you know. So I don't know, probably just runs in the fam, I guess. But yeah. Do you recommend that novices start by doing shorter trips or section hikes before starting a through hike? Your trip seems both amazing and terrifying to me. So Chris, this has been an odd year for the PCT. The PCT is not normally this scary, you know. People that hike the AT and the PCT will generally tell you that the PCT is easier. It hasn't been this year. Of course, I mean, anything that you do, it's better to prepare and have practice and all of that. However, I will not say that it is necessary or a requirement for success. So I thru-hiked the AT, had never had any backpacking experience, did not know how to use my stove the day I started. I'm not saying that that's like the best decision to set yourself up for success. I'm just saying I did it and I finished, and there were a lot of other people that I met out there that was their first one. also out here, I've met people that this is their first through hike, you know, so, you know, it's possible, and I think that it happens a lot more than people think, but just in general, you know, if you want to find out if you actually enjoy backpacking, then a weekend trip is a great way to go, you know, so, you could get some used gear, cheap, it might be heavier stuff or whatever, but, it would be better to, than investing a ton of money, which you can resell backpacking gear. So even if you invested a ton of money and just decided a through hike isn't for you, you would have it for weekend hikes, or you could, you know, sell it, and you might lose a little bit, but hey, that was the rental fee, right? So, but yeah, it's definitely not a necessity. I can't speak for the CDT, but I think that one's probably even more remote and a little scarier. I don't know though. So, I haven't met anybody that the CDT was their first through hike, but I might next year, so I can tell you. But yeah, it's definitely not a necessity to do it ahead of time or to be in perfect physical shape or anything like that. But it would help, you know, just to know what you're getting yourself into. Was the heat worse on the AT or the PCT? It was just, Lord, y'all, there's somebody outside with a snowmobile in the gravel. Sorry for the noise, and he just fell off of it. Okay, wow. So if you hear noise, that's what it is. Anyway, so, goodness gracious. So, let's see. No, he's distracted me. Oh, the heat, okay. Yes, so it was different heat. On the AT, it's very humid. You're in the shade more often, but you're just like constantly wet and sticky, you know. On the PCT, it was that dry desert heat with the sun baking down on you and all that. So, it was just different. I never had to take a nap on the PCT or on the AT because it was so intense, but that was more of the sun, you know, than anything, just baking down and well, the heat too. And I didn't have to carry as much water on the AT, so I guess I would say overall the heat was hotter and more intense on the PCT, but it was drier, so it's more consistent and like humid on the AT. All right, let's see. What do you use to track your miles, or are there markers? So the Gut Hooks app actually is what I use. It's an app. If you have a smartphone, you can get it, and it has GPS incorporated into it, so it tells you where you are in reference to the trail, and it'll tell you, oh, you're 5 miles away from such and such, you know, if you click that little waypoint. So I found that really useful. You seem so competitive. Did you tease others about how much of a monster your mileage was? No, I'm competitive, but I am competitive with others, but it's more like a personal, like, that was more of a personal challenge, you know. I wanted to see how many miles I could do. So, I mean, had they been right there with me, that would have been great. You know, had they beat me, I'd have been like, but like, I would still be happy for them. Like, I'm not one of those rub it in your face, you know, make you feel bad because, you know, I won or whatever. So I was proud of all of us. Everybody continued for the whole 24 hours. So, you know, I don't know. I think that's all something to be proud of, and we all beat our personal records. So I'm not one for, you know, rubbing it in somebody's face. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like especially even with football, I don't do that. I'm not like, haha, we beat you. You know, I'm like, sorry. You know, I always feel bad. I don't know. Unless it's Alabama, then I don't feel bad. Okay. Thank you for the shout out to my daughter Katie. You made her smile big time. You're cool. Oh, well, that's awesome. I'm glad that she's hanging out and listening in. 62 miles is straight beast mode. Put the boys to shame. Oh, I didn't put them to shame. Can you say more about the fear mongering about High Sierras? So, okay. In my opinion, the Sierra Nevada was difficult. It was very challenging. I don't feel like I could have done it alone. There were parts that I feel like I could not have done alone, that I would have had to wait for somebody else, or I would have gotten myself into trouble trying it alone. River crossings being the main one, and one point on Mather Pass where I had to ask Butters to come back and grab my hand while I jumped because I was slipping down a rock face. So yes, I do think it was definitely a challenge. However, a lot of people skipped it without even trying to go in because of posts on Facebook, you know, the PCTA posting things like people are going to die, and I mean 2 people did die. So, but people, and I don't mean to make light of death at all, but people die all the time in the wilderness. Like, it happens, and I'm not saying that most of them aren't avoidable, right? But I also have to wonder, and maybe I'm wrong, had there not been this just, death is showering down in the Sierra Nevada, had there not been this crazy amount of fear-mongering, would there have been more people out there and more camaraderie and more teamwork? Potentially, you know, would there have been people who weren't like, well, I have nobody to go do it with, so I guess I'll do it alone? Potentially, you know. I guess the argument could also be made that if more people were out there, more would have died. You know, I don't know. But I can say that I didn't think every moment I was going to die, and the things that you read online would lead you to believe that. Also, a lot of this was through hikers that would post, that were ahead, like the front runners. They would post things on Instagram and Facebook, you know, so I'm following all these people, trying to get good information, trying to see what they did, and find out what's going on in the Sierra Nevada as I was approaching it. And I'm seeing posts where they would take a picture of the most raging part of the river and be like, I just crossed this. And they wouldn't mind, you know, share, or they wouldn't bother to share, rather, the log that they had crossed on, you know, upstream or something. And it's like, you got people behind you that are like scared to death. Some of them aren't going in, you know, some of them are, and realizing that you just, you know, wanted to make yourself look cooler, you know, by showing like the most raging part of the river instead of where you actually crossed. So yes, while some of them were scary, you know, for example, the one that we swam, had I waited, camped there and waited till the next morning, might not have had to swim it. But I had people with me, teamwork, you know, to catch my hand, and that one was really kind of slow flowing anyway. But there were others that, you know, were kind of scary, but we had each other to like grab hands and stuff like that. So I think that it was definitely blown out of proportion. It was difficult, it was dangerous, and I'm glad that I didn't have to try to do it all alone. But at any point I could have turned back, and there were just a lot of people that didn't even go in and see for themselves. You know, I'm like, if you go in and you hit that first snowy patch and say, nope, this isn't for me, or whatever, you weren't too far out of town at the snow or at the first river to turn back around. So anyway, and there were also notes in Gut Hooks, that app I was talking about where people were crossing. Hey, there's a log upstream. Hey, there's this downstream. And there was a water report on the PCTA website where people were commenting to let each other know. So there was good communication about good places to cross rivers. So while they were scary, there were people to help report the best places. So let's see what's next. So how are you wearing a men's 11 shoe? How tall are you, and what do you think your hobbit, and do you think your hobbit feet will shrink to fit your height, or will we need to call Gandalf for some foot magic? I don't think they're gonna shrink. In fact, I finished the AT, I think it was in a 10, men's 10, and that's what I started the PCT with, and my big toenails fell off. So so I went to 11. You know, I could have gotten by with a 10.5, but I didn't want to risk, you know, buying another pair of shoes just to have my feet hurt again. So I went with the 11, and they've been working, so I've stuck with them. And I don't know, I guess I'll just be a really good swimmer after this. Okay, my 10-year-old son Casey could not believe it when we went to the post office and got your postcard. He follows a lot of YouTubers but has never gotten a postcard from one. Oh, that's so awesome! I'm glad that he liked it. That's really cool. Where have you gotten the most discouraged? Honestly, last night was pretty discouraging when I woke up in a puddle, a legitimate puddle in my tent. That was pretty frustrating because it's like, I'm so close, I just want to get there. Also, I think I had kind of a little meltdown when I found out that I couldn't go over Bridge of the Gods, when I couldn't walk across it, because that's just like such a huge milestone that you look forward to as a thru hiker, and then, you know, it's just like, God bless it, like, you know, Mother Nature's trying to rob everything from us this year, you know. But I was being a drama queen, you know. There are a lot of people who are dealing with, you know, a fire near their homes, and imagine how they feel, and I'm just upset because I can't walk across a bridge, right? So it's like, get over yourself. But yeah, that was pretty frustrating. And then, yeah, like I said, having to turn back today, you know, I felt kind of like I mean, I knew I wasn't being a wimp, but I kind of felt like that. I was like, but at the same time, if it's going to be down in the 30s again tonight, and after hiking in the rain all day, I climbed into a wet sleeping bag, then that's asking for hypothermia. So I'll just be doing another 7-mile hill again tomorrow. No big deal. Luckily, I was this close to town. Oh, Lord, somebody cussed me with the, I can't even say it, the RT term that the University of Alabama likes to holler. I can't even say it. The opposite of War Eagle. Somebody cussed me with that. Okay, does the lack of community change the way you approach your vlog? That's a good question, Joe. I definitely think that I haven't included as many of the people around me because, you know, I haven't had, I guess, as much time with what I would say a tramily. I mean, I definitely, the people that I have gotten close to, I have, you know, showed them on the trail. But yeah, I think this one has been more of an individual experience, so I would say that the vlog has definitely reflected that, you know. I think on the AT there was a lot more video of other people, and on this one it's been just mainly me running my mouth. It's a website with top recommendation of outdoor gear. Wait, Adam, do I know what you're talking about? Did you write something further back that I'm forgetting about now? Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to find it, but I don't see anything. It's a website with top recommendation of outdoor gear. Adam, if you could elaborate what you mean. I think I might be missing what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I'm having a blonde moment here. On average, how many hikers do you think you see a day? Lately, 0. Just me and Perk and Milestone. Milestone went ahead when we got here because she had to be in Leavenworth at a certain time, and I was like, I'm taking a day off, which turned into several. But here, while I've been here, I've seen a few hikers go through, so that's nice. But it's just, like I said, people have been so dispersed. Every now and then I'll see a southbounder, or like every few days, or people who are hiking southbound because they flipped and went up and are coming back. So I do see some occasionally, but not even one new hiker a day on average. So more like every 3 days maybe. Hey Jessica, so the new backpack, did you take the metal stays out or do you have to adjust them? So Gail, I'm assuming you're talking about on the back, like the frame. So I just like made them arch. I pulled the strap and it just kind of like arches them a little bit. So I guess it's the arc call. But oh, I see. Sweet Home is a website. Okay, but anyway, so I did adjust it, make it arch. I was carrying it for a few days without doing that, and Perk was like, let me show you how to do this, you know. So but anyway, I do have it kind of arched now, and the Z-Packs pack, I will say, definitely is much more adjustable as far as the way that the weight carries, and you know, has a lot more straps and things to adjust to fit to your back. It takes a little, you know, playing around with to get it perfect for you, but the ability is there to adjust it. So but I haven't taken anything off of it. I was just looking at your first AT video. You've truly grown into such a confident, experienced, and capable. You're gonna make me blush, Mike. Thanks for bringing us all along on your adventure. You're a great example. Well, thank you. I feel like I'm just a normal person just running my mouth here about what I'm doing, so I'm just glad that it helps folks out, hopefully, and makes them get out there and do, you know, their own thing. So because if I can do it, anybody can do it. Let's see, guide taught each other you have guys taunt each other and you've been around them. It wasn't a jab at you. Your modesty about the achievement speaks well for you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I didn't take it as a jab or anything like that. And I know that fellas do mess with each other all the time, and don't think they spare me, but I can fire back. If I'm assaulted first, I'll fire back, but I just don't usually start it. So Do you eat those freeze-dried breakfast skillets that they sell at REI? Yes. If you're talking about the Mountain House breakfast skillet, I actually like that one. So Mountain House meals are amazing. And actually, these paleo meals to go are pretty good. And you can sprinkle in. The only thing I'll say for them is, to me, they need a little bit more salt. And I'm not a huge salt person. But if you get like some bouillon cubes or something and crunch a little bit up into one, it helps. If you had the ability to text on the trail, would that help reduce the stress of meeting commitments? Yes. My wife gave me a Garmin InReach so I could communicate with her while hiking. Yes, Joe. And as a matter of fact, I'm seriously considering getting one of those for the CDT. That way I don't have to deal with the no texting deal and the no servicing. That I think that those devices are pretty amazing. I like that better than the idea of a spot that you can just hit it and let someone know you're alive. I mean, that is nice, but you know, if you're going to pay money for a device, to be able to communicate is wonderful. Like communicate more than just a I'm alive. Will you write more on your blog when you get home? Yes, Lord, yes. I want to, you know, not be in Maine anymore on my AT one, and on the PCT, certainly, yeah, I'll start regularly posting to that one. So, with all the fire closures and the, you know, whatever, it's just like when I get to town and after I do all my chores and everything, it's really hard to sit down and blog. And I've been sharing rooms with people and stuff like that, and it's hard when people are talking to you and everything to like get into that mindset of, you know, I'm doing this right now. So yes. So I will certainly catch that up when I get home. And I keep a written journal in my tent at night so that, you know, I can go back and see what was going on and how I felt. And then my pictures, you know, kind of tell the story also. So, but yes, I will update that when I get done. And I'm still trying to do more while I'm out here, but we'll see how that goes. I was so impressed when I watched your 24-hour challenge. You're a great inspirational role model, like the young lady watching this live Q&A. Aww. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. In the snow, you hiked in shorts. Is that you warm-blooded, or is it common? I'm not warm-blooded. I'm a baby when it comes to cold, but when I hike, I'm normally warm. Now, the snow doesn't bother me, having snow around and being in shorts. And for the most part in the Sierra Nevada, it was pretty warm, even though we were on snow, because it was, you know, melting. When it's raining, when it's cold and raining, I'm done. I just freeze, and I have a 10-degree bag because I get cold at night. So I am a baby when it comes to the cold, but I don't know. I stay warm enough to hike in shorts, and when I start getting hot, I want the clothes off, you know. So it's really nice to just be able to keep my shorts, and I can put on a raincoat or take it off as I get, you know, warm or cold. So I like to regulate it with that. But when it's raining, ugh. Okay. Let's see. In the snow. Okay, that's where we were at. All right. Happy trails. Continue to be safe. Be smart to the very next step. Blessings and good night. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for tuning in. And yeah, hopefully I'll get there in one piece. Okay, Sweet Home is a website with outdoor recommendations. Wondering if you ever picked something off there for your gear. Oh, no, I hadn't even heard of that one. Actually, I used Outdoor Gear Lab a lot. I like the way that they lay things out, but I'll have to check that one out. Mad skills with the hiking pole, baton twirling. You are shaping up to be a pre and post Swiftie. Did Milestone and Ragnar drop off at the Oregon-Washington border? Hope his paw was on the mend. No, they're still on trail. Well, Ragnar, she sent him home when we were in here at this pass, actually, at Snoqualmie Pass. She sent Ragnar home just because she didn't want him in the snow and everything. And he was getting kind of finicky with his food, not wanting to eat and stuff like that. So she was like, time for you to go home, bud. But she's still trekking on. She's a couple days ahead of me now. Perk will be a day ahead now. But yeah, they're all still, and thank you for the compliment on the baton twirling. I've been working on that. I mean, it's something to do, right, when you're trucking. I'm surprised I haven't broken a trekking pole yet, messing around. So you did get the paleo meals. Yes, I did, and they were delicious. They have been wonderful. If you had to pick a gear item of the week right now, what would it be? Oh, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I've loved my sleeping bag. My sleeping bag has been pretty awesome. I'm just thinking about that because it was wet last night and I realized how much I really love it. So I'd probably say my sleeping bag. It's a 10-degree Z-Packs. I want to say tall and slim, but I don't remember exactly what size I got, but I could figure it out. Or it's on my gear list on the website. But yeah, I've really loved that sleeping bag. I started with the 20. It was a little too cold for me. Z-Packs had great customer service. They swapped me out for the 10, and I you know, they were fast about it. So I really do love my sleeping bag. Speaking of shorts, new ones or still the repaired? I still have the repaired one. I don't know. I guess, like, I get attached to my gear, and so those shorts, I really like them. And so the floss just speaks for the challenge that we've been through together. So I just joined your live chat. Have you talked about your our call pack yet? Yes, I have. I like it so far. I like that it's much more adjustable than the HMG pack. As far as the way that it carries weight and everything. The hip belt pockets that I have on it are nice and big, roomy. So far so good on that. And I'll do, you know, like an in-depth comparison of my experience with the two when I get done. And if you have, Daniel, if you have any specific questions about it, you can go ahead and comment that if you'd like to. I've got a couple others that I didn't cover yet from people who were afraid they might not make it. All right. Somebody asked, they said that they watched a vlogger doing 40-mile days, and did I think that was crazy, or like what's my comfort level? It really depends on the terrain, it depends on the weather, you know, all of that. But I've found that I enjoy the day more if I can keep it between like 20 and 25. If it's more than that, then I'm pushing harder. Now there are areas where the terrain is really nice, or if there's like a big downhill, because I'm a downhill kind of girl. I get my little trucking going on when I go down a hill. Uphill, I'm like, oh, I actually like climbing mountains. What am I doing? And, you know, I mean, flat's great, so, right? But yeah, I would say 20 to 25 is really what I like, because that gives me time. I like cooking at lunch. I like cooking my breakfast, you know. But I really think that people THRU-HIKE for different reasons. Some really want to push themselves and see like how fast they can go and how quick they can get it done. Some are like, you know, foodies that are like enjoy going into town more and eating the food there. Some, you know, like just really like taking pictures along the way. That's probably more my speed, right? So I don't think that there's any right or wrong way to do it. As long as if you're doing a THRU-HIKE, you actually, you know, hike all of the miles of the PCT. So that's awesome that he's busting those days out if he's feeling good about it. Stove or no stove, ideas, like how to make your food not wet and sloppy if you do no stove. So when I was forced to do no stove for a while because Mount Shasta was holding my package hostage, I just made sure to take food that I didn't have to cook, or, you know, so you can do cold soaking. I don't have any feedback on that because I've never tried it, but I've heard, you know, like couscous, I've heard a lot of things will do fine like that. I just don't prefer to. So, and if you're cold soaking, I mean, my thing is if you're toting it a while, waiting for it to warm up, are you really saving weight from the stove and the cook pot versus the water that's your food is soaking in? I don't know. I haven't compared that. So, but I really liked, I mean, for a few days I liked not cooking. It was just a change. But I really love having a warm meal. So, so I'm probably not a good person to ask about how to make it not wet and sloppy if you don't cook, because I usually only cook. But I will say with pasta sides and rice sides, it usually takes less water than they tell you on there. Just a heads up. All right, and then somebody also asked about trail mances, and they see all these vloggers and they wonder why more people, you know, because they're making friendships and things like that. You have all these people to be, you know, that are spending time out in the woods together. How come there are not more trail mances? And are you just too gross to, like, you know, want to touch each other? So I'll just say that I definitely think that there are trail mances going on. I mean, I've seen it happen. But I think that probably people just don't want to share their business. So, that would be my guess. So, I mean, it's just like anything else in life, right? So you might have a workplace and you got two people that are kind of sweet on each other, but like they're not going to be like, oh, by the way, I went on a date with Susie Ray last night and it was great, you know, because it's like nobody's business but theirs. And then if they eventually come out and they're like, oh, by the way, we're in a relationship, then it is, you know, then they let everybody know. But I mean, it's just private, so they probably keep it private. Okay. Thank Aaron for us. Stay safe, be smart, and rock on. Well, I'm sure he will see this, so you just thanked him yourself, but I will also tell him that y'all mentioned him. The back breathability of the arc haul. Okay, yeah, so it's got like these two metal stobs, and you can kind of bend them and pull the straps to make it arc, and then it's got netting on the back. So the back breathability, I would say, is better with this one, because the other one, there was no netting or any of that, like, you know, I know the anti-gravity system is what Osprey calls theirs, but there was none of that with the HMG pack. So this one, you know, I've not had any of the same heat rash issues, and I think that mainly that was rubbing and sweating. I don't know, but it's got more breathability than the last one for sure. You said you woke up in a puddle. Does the tent have holes? Is it a 4-season double wall tent? Can't afford to have that happen too often, especially as you go further north. Yeah, well, luckily the weather looks like it's going to hold out, and I'm almost done. So I have about 250 miles left. I saw that Bob asked that, so just answered your question too. Okay. I'm going to scope it out and see if there are any little pinholes. I had a couple of pinholes in it, and they sent me some repair tape. You know, I was cowboy camping on it, using it as my ground cloth on a cowboy camp. I don't think that would cause any serious issues, but I did have a couple of pinholes, and I taped those, so I don't think that that's what it was. I don't know. I have the Z-Packs Duplex, but I mean, I've loved it. It's very versatile. I haven't had huge condensation issues or anything like that. Last night very well could have been condensation because it was raining. I was near a lake. There could have been several things. I don't know. I'm not sure. So I'm going to make sure that there aren't any holes that I missed or anything like that. While it was raining, I couldn't pinpoint anything. I really think that it was potentially more condensation than anything. I had my black trash compactor bag around my legs and my sleeping pad, because I always put my pack under my legs since I have the short pad. So I put my legs in the sleeping bag and the sleeping pad like inside that black trash compactor bag to lay on top of the pack so that my sleeping bag didn't get wet on top of my wet pack, right? Well, when I woke up, even inside that black trash bag, it was wet, like inside of it. So I think that there was just an extreme amount of moisture in the air last night. That's really all I can think that could have caused it. But like I said, I haven't had any prior condensation issues with this tent, so it's not like a reoccurring thing or anything like that. So it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just really weird. Okay, if there were a place where you needed trail magic on the PCT and it wasn't there, where was it? I mean, there wasn't really much in Northern California at all. You know, if you email me and give me some time to think about that, I could probably come up with some spots if you're interested in doing trail magic somewhere. I'll have to think on it though, and it might be, you know, after I get through that I get back to you on email, but if you email me, I will get back to you. So I'll have to think on that more, but I mean, there wasn't a ton of trail magic, and there are a lot of dirt roads and access and things like that that you definitely there could be trail magic provided. So yeah, I can come up with a list if you're interested in doing it for sure. Is it okay to ask how you're doing financially? Are you okay? Aw, well, thank you, Joe. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing fine. So I'm gonna finish. There's no like concern of not finishing or anything like that because of financial concerns. So, dying to know what the cost of a through hike is. So it's different for every trail. I will definitely do like an in-depth breakdown of expenses once I finish this trail. So if y'all are wondering what this costs me, then I can definitely let you know. The AT, they estimate about, what is it that they say? I want to say it's like at least $2 per mile. Am I right? Or about $1,000 per month. So if it takes you 6 months, about $6,000, not including gear. So that's like actual costs. And while it sounds high, it's like, I mean, how much does rent cost somebody, you know, normally a month, and then for 6 months, how much would it cost? So I don't know. I guess there are several ways to look at that, but thanks so much for doing this. Have a great time and be safe. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Thank you. Do you plan to make more videos after you're done? Yes. So I will definitely be making informational videos like I did, you know, with the AT when I got finished. There was always a video every Wednesday, so that will definitely continue. Might do, you know, if I do anything else outdoors, which I'm sure I will between now and then, I could post that. But typically, you know, those don't really go over well or anything. People like information. They like to, you know, learn about how to prepare for a through hike. So that's what the majority of the videos will probably be between now and when I start the CDT. But then when I start the CDT next year, unless any unforeseeable thing happens, then I'll be posting videos like the ones that are coming out now. Last one, have a safe journey, Jessica. You're awesome. Thank you, Philip. I appreciate that. Last one, what's the best practical joke you've seen so far? You know, I guess there really hasn't been anything that's like, there hasn't been a big jokester that I can think of. I'm sure it's something that Perk has done. He's the jokester if anybody is. You know, and it's not even, I mean, it's not a big one, but it was pretty funny the other day on trail. I was walking behind him, and I'm trucking along, and he's just like stopped in the middle of the trail, and he's like really still, and I was just like, what in the world is going on? I'm like, Perk? And he like slowly turns, and then he whips around real quick, and he's got like this green moss like on his mustache and beard, like just all covered, and it just looked really funny. So I mean, that's not really a practical joke, but I mean, it was kind of funny. Let me be one of the first to say congrats on the completion of the PCT. Man, don't jinx me. But thank you. I'm really trying to get there. I'm gonna get there. But you know, let's just okay, let's see. But thank you. I live 2 hours from Manning Park. Welcome to Canada. I'm not there yet. I'm trying. I'm glad that y'all have so much faith in me, though. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing your adventure. It's been a pleasure to watch. And let's see, looking forward to tagging along for the Triple Crown. Well, thank you. I'm glad that y'all have faith in me. Yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up. It has been an hour and 13 minutes now. So, but if anybody thinks of a question and they're like, dadgum, I should have asked that, you can comment in Patreon or email me, and you know, I'll get back to you after I get service again in the next town. And if nobody else has any question right now, then I reckon I'll run and try to check out my tent and get my clothes in the dryer. So good night, good luck over the next 250. Thank you. And like I said, this may be the last one on trail, but when I finish, I'll be back with y'all, and I'll be answering any questions y'all might have on the last 250 miles. So all right, good night, y'all. Thank you for tuning in so much. It's always like uplifting and encouraging when I get to talk to y'all. So it just it helps me out. So I really appreciate it. Yeah, burger time. That's right. Yeah. Bye, y'all. Bye. Thank you again so much for everything. All right. See y'all later. Y'all take care. I'll see you in Canada.